These are the Japanese character for 独創. This is a term which has guided Nintendo since the early days of the company when Mr. Hiroshi Yamauchi was president. In English, it means creating something unique.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Gaming Out Loud. I'm your host, Laguna. I think it is universally agreed that we all don't want to see Nintendo become irrelevant in the future. And it's because most of us grew up with Nintendo games, and some of our greatest memories came from playing a Nintendo game at one time or another. Nintendo still creates some of the most amazing games today, but they struggle sometimes with less than amazing hardware sales. Satoru Iwata, the CEO of Nintendo, back when he revealed the Wii U to the world, he explained Nintendo's philosophy, which was simply to always create something unique, and I admire that. Nintendo has always challenged the status quo, which is why they deserve a lot of credit for constantly making huge risks and braving new grounds with hardware rather than simply reacting to what others have already done. Nintendo was the first to mainstream shoulder buttons with the Super Nintendo controller. They brought us the first analog stick with the Nintendo 64. They were the first to use a wireless controller, first to use motion controls, first to use touchscreens. Nintendo played a major role in how things are today. We need a Nintendo type of company to continue to challenge the status quo. But it's not just hardware. They also make some of the most unique gameplay experiences in the industry. Think of all the games that defined a generation. Games like Star Fox with real 3D rendering that had players dodging buildings and asteroids and enemy ships. F-Zero GX to this day is still the fastest racing game ever made. 3D platforming was never the same after Super Mario 64. Zelda Ocarina of Time's Z-targeting made new forms of 3D combat possible. No one mastered motion controls as well as Nintendo did with games like Zelda Skyward Sword, with its almost one-to-one sword combat. Super Mario Galaxy with its play on gravity. And Mario Kart Wii with the option to actually use a wireless wheel to drive. I admire that Nintendo always puts gameplay first and are constantly trying to surprise us with change. Now, having said that, Nintendo constantly trying to be unique can be a very risky endeavor, which is why Nintendo's past is made up of hit and misses. This is exactly why Nintendo is important. We need Nintendo to continue to fight for uniqueness. Don't get me wrong, I do think PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are gonna be great, but let's be honest, you're just playing last generation games with next gen graphics. There's nothing new or innovative with how those two consoles control. At least not until VR headsets come out. My point is, I want to see Nintendo succeed. Hell, I want to see Microsoft and Sony succeed too. Ideally, you would buy all three next-gen consoles. But if you had to pick one, damn it, it's too early to say. But I can say buying Nintendo is supporting the ideals this industry needs, because the heart of that company is in the right place. So I want to know why you haven't bought Wii U. Is it their kid-friendly themes that bother you? Is it because of their inferior graphics capabilities? Is it that you require mature themes in your games? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll make a follow-up episode all about your comments. That concludes this episode. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and help this channel grow, and I'll see you again next week.